All right. Hello, Leo. This is Sage, and it's time for your reading. So, hi. Today, when I was sort of like preparing to do your reading, Leo, I was getting the song in my head. Mr. Sandman, give me a dream. Da, 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 da. You know, make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Da, da, da. Roses and clover. Yeah, so Sandman, give me a dream, uh, Mr. Sandman. So that's the song that's been playing in my head, and I guess you guys are lonely and you're looking for a partner, and that's what the reading should be about. But I'm just gonna check, you know, my pot of charms to see if um, the journey is supposed to be about the journey of coming home to your partner. Journey of coming home to the partner. What should the surrounding elements be about? Love, um, anchoring, and this is okay. So this is raspberry, and this is the raspberry thief. Okay, so when I at least that's what I think whenever I pick this up. So it's sort of saying that uh, yeah, like there's a little bit of moral grayness involved, but then there's a lot of sweetness to be had. So love, um, what can anchor you, and what you need to reach out for anyway. Okay, so clearly, the Eight of Cups with the indecisive witch is all about like hanging out at the threshold of your door a little too much. You know, this it doesn't need the kind of second thinking that you're doing. If you want to go out, go out. It is good for you to do that. It is good for you to get out of your home. Ah, yeah. Okay. So it's good for you to get out of your home and maybe just, get out. Maybe just, okay. So another thing that came up for you was my self-love jar. Now it's my personal self-love jar. But I guess maybe you're similar enough to me that there's cat hair also. Maybe you're similar enough to me that something here will resonate with you as well. So let's just spread this apart. And now let's give you something to help with the indecision, right? Let's see which side. So, okay. We all love your squeal of excitement every time you get what you want. Go on, ask for more. And there's a little piggy that I tried to draw. So it's fine to be greedy. is what it's saying. And then let's see what this has. You show your loving and caring, what am I saying? You show your loving and caring through wisdom and stories of your bad experiences. And then you let the other person do as they will, you know. Okay, nice. So on the one hand, it's just telling you to go and get whatever it is that you want to get. Be greedy, you know. Go out, go to that person's house that you want to go, or like go treat yourself if that's what you want to do. Go shopping if that's what you want to do. Be greedy. Allow yourself to be greedy. And then here we have, you know, I try to draw a mustache here. So basically, you know, it doesn't matter what sex you are, like what gender you are. You have a bit of, you know, that daddy quality. You know, you have the ability to guide people, and you have a lot of stories that you can tell. So yeah, this is sort of telling you what you can give, and this is sort of telling you, um, sorry, this is telling you what you can take, and this is sort of telling you what you can give. So um, yeah, I don't know why exactly you want to know these things, but it seems like you do. So there we are. Okay, and then we have the divine doors that came up for you. And how appropriate, right? How appropriate, right? That you're standing at the threshold and you're wanting to cross it to a door. Okay, so you know what? Let me just put this all to one corner, yeah? Let me do that. Okay, so let's just see what sort of doors you'll be walking out of and into, right? Let's see. Let's see what sort of doors you'll be walking through, you know, once you overcome your indecision and just go out whenever you want to go out. What sort of doors, Leo, will you be walking through once you make this decision? So we have this beautiful door, which is more like another threshold, really, right? Yeah, another threshold, really, and it seems like a really quiet place, cold, moist, um, dark, but also grounded and earthy. It feels like uh, a restorative place to be. It feels like a temple. So let's see. Nomad. The nomadic wanderer lies deep inside, so take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. That is interesting, and that is nice. Um, so yeah. And now thinking about the temple, right? How this feels like a temple. And with the information on the back, it just seems like you know, it just seems like you need to go out. You need to go out and just walk around. You need to wander, you know, and any green place would feel like a temple, right? It would be really grounding. It would be you connecting to the earth. So yeah, okay. So here I have it. Um, the next time you feel like going out but you don't know where to go out to, just go to any place nice, green and earthy, right? So that will help you at the beginning to start with. Like, yeah, yeah, it'll help you start. Um, it'll help you start wandering around, you know. Okay, so that's one door. And let's see, what are the other doors? What does it say? Okay, so being a nomad is just the beginning. What's next? Okay, so we have this nice blue door. Um, this feels like the entrance to a place that maybe has something curious in there, because like not many people paint their doors that blue, you know. The inside's got to be interesting. Secret sketches. Wander and seek the familiar and friendly kind. Draw memories and sketches for others to find. Okay, so that's interesting. That's talking about randomly chatting with people. Maybe people that you meet over there. Maybe some of you are good at drawing. You can go out and sketch, you know, at the parks or something, and just leave the sketches for someone to find. Or, you know, it could be something as simple as uh, painting on a stone and leaving it somewhere for someone to find. Um, it's maybe that that thing of like, you know, making sketches, um, leaving patterned stones, or yeah, things like that is just a ritual to increase your chances of striking up a good conversation with a stranger, you know. So that's what it's really talking about. It's like, you know, even if you start out being like really shy and really um, reluctant to strike up a conversation, um, it is good to have something that can be like your lure, you know. For some people, it's sketches, a little drawing here and there. Um, Maybe you can walk a dog, maybe you can walk your dog and meet people that way, you know, just until you learn to, um, yeah, really like talk to people properly on your own, you know. And one more. Oh, how is it? Oh, this way, this way. Oh my God, this looks so beautiful. This looks like a place in Greece or something. Um, it looks kind of like this, but less intense, more relaxed, more amazing. Honestly, it looks like a combination of both these. elements. You know, the blue is still here but lighter, the green is here but in bloom, you know. It just feels more beautiful. It feels like, you know, you start out exploring the land, you start out trying to make friends, trying to like just talk to people randomly. It's going to help you over here, you know, you're going to reach a sense of ease. Let's see what it says. The Odyssey. Take in the beauty of the country lands and botany. Explore the wonder like a gypsy traveler's odyssey. Okay, nice. I think it's also telling you to enjoy the journey instead of making all of this to be like, I need to go out and search my partner, you know. Um, yeah, just take the time to enjoy it. And let's see. Okay, so these are the cards that came up. So possible issues, advice, possible issues, advice. Okay, so this is interesting. It's interesting. These are the ones that come up as possible issues. Okay, so if you're going out into nature, you know, for the first time in a long time, you know, the possible issue is the Judgment card. So when the Judgment card comes out, I'm always thinking that this has to do with timing. So that is an issue. Okay, so that that just um, that just means that, you know, like maybe you're impatient. Like maybe you might try to like force yourself to just get out that door, um, you know, like bulldoze yourself through the threshold. Don't do that. You know, there's a time and place for everything. Trust that when when it is time, you know, you will feel like going out, or at least, you know, since the indecisive witch is right here, um, you know, even if you don't feel um, like you're sure that you want to go out, you wouldn't feel great staying in. I think that's the key, you know. So, so yeah, um, if you don't feel like going out, and if you definitely feel like staying in, don't confuse that with indecisiveness. Okay, like, okay, so let me just say that again. Let me just say that again so it's all clear, right? Um, there's a difference between indecisiveness and knowing it's the right time to move. Okay, so like a little clue that I can give you is that, you know, this indecisiveness could point to something like, you know, not feeling good staying at home, right? Yeah, not feeling good staying at home, but indecisive about where to go or what to do, you know, or if it's worth going out at this time, you know, things like that. So that's what the indecisive witch is about. Um, this is not to say that you must force yourself to get out your home when you do feel like staying in. When you do feel like staying in, don't force yourself to get out. When you do feel like staying in, it just means it's not the right time. So, yeah, the only issue is that there is a certain time for you to get out, you know, um, and you need to listen to those trumpets, okay, within you, that itchy feet, that feeling of like, oh, I'm claustrophobic in here, I need to get out, you know. So yeah, don't confuse indecisiveness with timing or laziness or like whatever, okay. So have some discernment so that you're not just blindly pushing yourself to get out when everything in you is telling you to stay in. That's your intuition telling you it's not time yet to get out, okay? Stay in your home, right? And the solution for that is the Emperor upside down. Don't try to freaking control everything, you know? Like, okay, so I've told you that you're staying indoors too much. You need to get out. And so you want to take control of that, take responsibility of the fact that you've heard that, and you want to do better. But like, you know, or maybe um, hearing me say that you're kind of like staying at home a lot. You wanna yeah, don't try to control the process, is basically what the emperor is saying, upside down. Even the emperor cannot really control everything, you know? Yeah. And then we have another positive card for supposed issues. So we have the sun here, possible issues, the sun. And the advice for that is the magician upside down. So, magician upright would be, use everything you've got, do what it is that you want to, you know, um, push through limits. Um, but upside down, it's sort of going like, uh, I don't know, like it's sort of saying be a little manipulative. Uh, your directness can be an issue with some of the people that you meet. That's what's showing up here. Your directness can be an issue. So I don't know, like upside down, it's really just telling me learn tact. But let me pull out a clarifier, and let's see what it's on about. So we have strength as the clarifier. Um, yeah. So yeah, the sun being here and the sun being here, it just kind of is like telling me control yourself a little bit. you know. Um, yeah, you're like the lion that just wants to roar all of your opinions. Um, and maybe you should let's take another clarifier for this magician, shall we? Let's figure out exactly what sort of um, tact it's talking about, or like what sort of manipulation is it talking about. The lovers, okay, the lovers being here for the magician. Okay, so I'm not looking at it as a lover's card when it's coming up right here, this just is kind of telling me that, you know who you are, right? And sometimes it's very easy to tell how this person is like and how that person is like, you know. So uh, it's sort of saying it's just saying like, okay, so I'll give you an example. So here's a guy, and this is the virgin, and this is like the hag, or like the whore or whatever, right? It's just, yeah. I'm just giving you an explanation, okay? Chill out. So so the kind of jokes that you would make in the presence of the virgin would be completely different from the kind of jokes that you would make in front of the whore, right? So that's all it's talking about. It's like, you don't have to come on so strong. You can, you know, um, you know, you know who you are. You know how the other people, um, you know, you more or less know how you're going to be received, right? Most of the time, you don't care how you're going to be received or what another person is going to think of you. But it's not about that. It's not about, um, being concerned about what they think of you and, adapting to that. It's not about that. It's just, like I said, you wouldn't make a certain joke, like you wouldn't use curse words around a mom and her baby, you know, unless you want to get spanked, unless you want to get kicked out of the mother's house, yeah. But you can have like the dirtiest mouth if you're just like in a bar, right? So it's just talking about, you know, read the room, read the room. Don't just like blab blab your thing, you know. Um, yeah. So that's interesting, Leo. So that's really interesting, Leo. You know, it's telling you to go out into nature. Don't force yourself. There's a sort of timing to these things. You will know when you want to go out, and you will know when you want to stay in. Don't try to control the process. And when you're, going out and starting to meet people, um, you don't have to temper your light, but you have to realize that sometimes you do come off a bit strong. So read the room, Leo. You can do it. So do it. Read the room and yeah, just make small, minor adjustments here and there, you know. Um, there's no question of authenticity here. Don't worry. So, then we have this card of ease that's come up, you know, it's where you're starting to meet people, you are good at interacting with people, and you're good at wandering around, having a good time, just really introducing different energies to your everyday, you know. So let's see, what's the best that can happen, and that's what's the worst that can happen. Okay, so the best that can happen is eventually you meet the one, right? Because that's what all of this reading is about. It started with a song in my head, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Yeah, so all of that, right? So yeah, don't worry about it. You will definitely um, meet the person. The best thing that can happen of you wandering about is that you can meet your person, you know. The worst thing that can happen is that you have a good time. So let me just pull out a clarifier. Yeah, have an excellent time. It might be short gratification, it might be little hookups, but you'll have a good time. And that's the worst that can happen. The best that can happen is you finally meet the one and you're joyful, you know. And let's just finally pull up um, more cards from the Cozy Witch. Let's see what comes up this way. So it's just again saying, yeah, so even if you meet like a lot of fuck boys and it's just like temporary gratification, don't try to control the process again. Just keep going. Trust. And once you meet the person, we have the Four of Wands, which is just like in other decks, it's the marriage card, but in this one, it's the family card. Family is whoever makes you feel the most safe and comfortable being you. And you'll feel safe and comfortable. I promise you that, Leo. All right, that's it for now. Thank you, Leo. Have a good day.